So we are in the Furlough Gorge, a beautiful natural park, which used to be the Roman road founded by Gaius Flaminius. It's called Via Flaminia today. The reason why the town of Urbino was founded first place, because you see this is side by side with the Metauro River, and so the Romans traveling this road could be threatened by the barbarians traveling by water. So what happened is that the Romans would make a detour and get uphill. So the road was founded in 220 before Christ, and the tunnel that you see that was also done by the Romans, Roman tunnel, as it says on the sign here, the stone that was put there by the Romans themselves was actually done in 76 AD. After Christ. They started settling down, and that's why the town of Urbino was actually founded. They stopped there and founded the town.
Componimento 1. Voi, qu'ascoltate in rime sparse il suono di quei sospiri, ond'io nutriva il core sul mio primo giovenile errore, quando era, in parte, altr'uomo da quel chi sono, del vario stile in ch'io piango e ragiono, fra le vane speranze e il van dolore, ove sia chi per prova intenda amore, spero trovar pietà, nonché perdono. Ma ben veggio, or sì, come al popol tutto, favola fui gran tempo, onde, sovente di me medesmo meco mi vergogno, e del mio vaneggiar, vergogna è il frutto, e il pentersi, e il conoscer chiaramente che quanto piace al mondo è breve sogno.
Ciao, mi chiamo Jessica. This is our first Friday in Urbino on our study abroad trip, and we are going to a concert for Dr. Clifford, so should be exciting. I've never heard him sing, and he has a song named after Urbino, the streets of Urbino, so should be awesome.
It's called The Streets of Urbino. Y'all are really easy. I was getting tired of big city roam. I wasn't ready to go back home. I met a girl named Kiara in a bar. She told me about her hometown. She said it'll help you get unwound. So I changed my plans and I got me a Hearst rental car. Well, I drove through the afternoon. I couldn't get there too soon. Then I looked up on the hill and I saw Urbino. I found a place to park that car. Hiked up the hill with my guitar. I got me a room at the Hotel Raffaello. You can see the Colosseum when you're down in Rome. You can eat bolognese, or you're in Bologna. the day. La statua bellissima. You can see the shroud of Jesus when you're in Urbino. As for me, I'd rather be on the streets of Urbino. I break the crowd, the deep Uffizi, and I'm not saying it didn't speak to me. And I walked into Raffaello's childhood home. Did a painting on the wall when he was very small. The room was church mouse quiet. I was standing there alone. A Raffaella alla gelateria, lei mi guarda, oh mamma mia, e il suo sorriso mi fa tanto bene al cuore. Mi ordino del pistacchio e con 2 euro sono a posto, e questo senso di leggerezza è breve come una carezza. Vuoi vedere la grandezza quando stai visitando Roma? Vuoi assaggiare la squisitezza se invece passi per Bologna? Vuoi provare la dolcezza di una gondola a Venezia e ammirare la bellezza di Firenze, la magnifica? Vuoi pregare sul volto di Gesù la sua Torino? Ma io preferisco stare strada di Urbino. Mi sedevo nella grande piazza e mi gustavo un po' di pasta, guardando in giro tra la gente stavo bene. Non avevo un pensiero al mondo e non andavo, can't see the damn word, non andavo da nessuna parte. Sembra tutto rallentare un po' se vivi il tempo di Urbino. Del parco della Resistenza c'era davvero un gran bella vista e la città era lì disegnata sulla collina. Dal ricordo di un dolore, un'esplosione di colore in una foto da cartolina, sempre qui con me vicina. You can see the Colosseum when you're down in Rome. You can eat bolognese when you're in Bologna. You can ride in a gondola. You're in Venezia, and Firenze has the day. La statua bellissima. You can see the shroud of Jesus. You're in Torino. As for me, I'd rather be on the streets of Urbino. On the streets of Urbino. I'll never be able to walk the streets of Urbino again.
My name is Ivan Salazar and I'm part of the Presidential Honors Program at Tarleton State University. This is my second time coming to Urbino. It truly is the La Città Ideale, which means the ideal city. And like anything that's worth seeing once, it's worth seeing twice. It's the perfect combination of Italian culture. It's one of the main centers of the Italian Renaissance. And you can see behind me, this is the front portion of the Ducal Palace. And you know, it's a wonderful city because it not only incorporates the beauty that is the Italian culture, including the art, language, but it also includes the architectural aspect of it because it incorporates its citizens within the Ducal Palace.
Well, we both wanted to go on the trip, like, before we were really close friends, and that was last year. And then we somehow
became best friends, and then we both found out that we were coming, to Italy, so that was really fun.
Yeah, and it's so cool getting to like travel Italy like with your best friend and make memories, because those are gonna last for a long time. And
we can decorate our apartment with all the pictures that we took.
yes, Italy's so much fun, and having someone there to like watch your back in foreign countries is a good thing. And like if someone were to go after her,
Yeah, because I'm more book smarts, and then she's got all the street smarts, so we're a good dynamic duo, kind of.
dream team.
Yes, dream team.
Dream Team 2015.
Yes.
We went to Ravenna. It was beautiful. We got to see a lot of things that we wouldn't be able to see back at home. The churches were just huge, and when you walked you went into the past. You felt like you were there again, because they're just in pristine condition, and and we saw these mosaic art, and it was just something I never thought I would be able to see in person. Saw it all throughout Ravenna. You saw the themes that were presented throughout the different churches, but these churches are 5th and 6th century, and they've survived all this time, and watching how these people had such pride in these ancient artifacts and in their history made it so real. It wasn't, you didn't go in there and you're like, oh, this is just a piece of history. It was living history, because these people they made it come alive, and they saw it and they felt it as if they were standing there back then and looking at it when it was brand new.
Io abito a Urbino. Urbino è la mia città. Capite? Città? Città. Urbino è una piccola città. Ok? In Italia. Italia è la mia nazione. Capite nazione? Come in inglese, no? Nazione. Urbino, città. Italia, nazione. Ok? Abito a Urbino, in Italia. Ok? Sara, can you help me? Sì. Mi aiuti? Sì? Ok, cominciamo con Sara e poi ci presentiamo. Ok? Sara, tu?
Mi chiamo Sarah, abito a Keller in Estados Unidos.
Stati Uniti. Ok, perfetto.
So the word Renaissance, as you probably know, means rebirth in French. In Italian, it's Rinascimento. And you'll see that word on signs, you'll see it on food items, Tipico del Rinascimento. Everyone loved it last year. It's just a wonderful class, as Ivan and Sarah can tell you. She'll be giving you the context. We'll then be doing the text. So it's text and context.
The whole area, especially this area in the center of the country, was built by the Romans. And then it changed, little by little through the centuries. And we went through the medieval times, and then during the Renaissance, when Federico took over the town, when he became the ruler of Urbino, he became what you see today, pretty much the same thing. So we're speaking 5 centuries ago, when it was built.
We visited Raphael's house yesterday, and there was this beautiful painting of a unicorn. And our guide told us how unicorns represented immortality and vitality. And we made a connection that in Harry Potter, if you drink unicorn blood, that gives you immortality. So that was a really cool connection to the modern world that we made.
I'm here at the Golem Theater. I'm here to watch my 3rd out of 4 movies for Italian. And it's actually kind of cool because we're in an immersion Italian class, and so I feel like I've picked up on the language a lot quicker than, say, when I was learning Spanish back in the States, because our Italian professor only talks in Italian, and the movies are in Italian but with English subtitles. And it's actually really exciting because when the movie is in Italian, it just makes you feel so much better when you like pick up on an Italian phrase in the movie.
We just finished watching our last film in the series, and it was really fascinating because this is kind of revered as like a classic film, and it was neat to see it in Italian because we often don't think of foreign films as being classics since we have so many like American films that are so good. It was really good. It was very sad, very depressing, but it was very well done, and so it was fascinating to see. We also saw a cartoon which didn't have any subtitles, so that was interesting, trying to figure out what they were saying. And we actually did a pretty good job of understanding what was going on, which that was neat. And then there were two other films that we saw. Most of us really enjoyed the chocolate. It was a chocolate film or something, and it was about, it kind of dealt with race relations with Egyptians in Italy and things of that nature. It was really funny, but it also had some really good themes behind it and ideas that were interesting. I have nothing good to say about the other film. The other film wasn't very good. It was extremely important and really fun to see all these different films in Italian because you get a taste of like the culture here. And
good.
Can I take these?
The cheese?
Yeah, throw them away over there.
I like. Oh, you got some more of that?
Avete fatto? Sì? C'erano i compiti, vero? Compiti? È freddo? Ivan, è freddo? È un po' freddo, no? Ok. C'è il messaggio? Messaggio? No, come no? Nella carta. Cosa? Ah, no, ok, però c'è? Sì, no?
Io e i miei amici partiamo domani sera con il treno notturno.
Con il treno notturno, perfetto.
We talked about Renaissance ideas creeping into Dante's medieval work. How might you see medieval ideas persisting in Petrarca's Renaissance work? We saw Renaissance ideas creeping into Dante's medieval work. How might you see medieval ideas persisting in Petrarca's Renaissance work?
How much I envy heaven, locking in which is greedily gathered to itself. The spirit freed from her most lovely limbs, that rarely will unlock itself for others. How much I envy souls whose fortune now is having her sweet, holy company.
It was very easy to travel to the eastern part of the empire, travel to Greece, travel to Turkey. So Istanbul is here, Constantinople, and then Egypt, Alexandria, here is Egypt, the northern part of Africa. So a lot of trading was going on back and forth from Ravenna. The history of Ravenna. Ravenna became the capital city of the Western Roman Empire in 402. Honorius decided to move the capital city from Mediolanum, from Milano, which was kind of close to the border, and move it down to Ravenna, which was also, had a privileged position, geographical position, being on the Adriatic Sea. The Pianura Padana, which covers Emilia-Romagna, the region where Bologna is. So it was a marshy territory, so it was hard to go through it, to pass it, to conquer it. So that made Ravenna even a safer place.
We are studying right now. We first start off with Dante, and now we're going into Petrarch, and then the Boccaccio's Decameron. And it kind of puts it in a different perspective, because whenever you grow up in America, you don't really actually get to see the atmosphere that they get, and so it just kind of puts Dante and the Inferno and where he grew up, and you can kind of actually see, like when we went to Ravenna, during his banishment, that's where he actually wrote the last two parts of the Inferno, and it just kind of you can see some of his, inspirations, and it's just a unique experience.
Lots of ironies in this story. Another, and we'll get to the central irony, of course, which is his transformation. Another irony, though, that I wanted to mention is the moral of the story. Watch out in Boccaccio for tacked-on morals. He's going to draw a moral. Panfilo will, the storyteller, he's just one of our 10 storytellers. He's going to draw a moral. He'll mention it at the beginning, and he'll mention it at the end. Most readers have found it a complete fake. Don't buy it. That leaves us with the question, where does Boccaccio stand? And we're going to have that question over and over again in these stories.
Yesterday we went to Fano and actually toured the underground and went to a couple of different churches, and so we're learning about Byzantine and all the different kinds of art and cultures associated with the churches, and a lot of things are really different but also really similar, and they make sense historically. So again, getting to see that physically brings a really neat and interesting aspect to the learning experience here.
So yesterday we were able to visit the ancient town of Fano, and this tour was actually one of my favorites. It was really fun because we learned about a lot of old traditions that the people that used to live there did. Their bathroom was kind of their hangout time, which was very interesting. We went into an underground tunnel where the rich people used to go and walk from building to building if they didn't want to come out into the city. The layout of the town was actually really cool to look at. They had a model right when we walked in, and
the Romans had created this kind of walled city, and it was really awesome, and we got to see another kind of area where they used to hang out and eat, and she told us that they used to eat laying on their sides, and then they would get really full and turn over and throw up so they could keep eating, which is not something you would ever think of ancient nobles. And so I thought it was really interesting because she included a lot of fun, quirky facts, which isn't something that we have gotten to do yet.
Io lavo qualcosa, io lavo me, ok? Quindi il verbo è uguale, ma davanti devo mettere queste piccole parole. Io mi lavo, tu ti lavi, vedete che è uguale. Lavo, lavi, lui si lava, noi ci laviamo, voi vi, bravissima Jessica, vi lavate e loro.
He doesn't say, I believe in the gods, he just tells the story, and the point of that story is to explain why everybody's mad at him, right? Because the oracle made me do it. Now, as I said last time, that's not the last word from Socrates. The gadfly image is the last word, where he says, my purpose in life. And he says, I was appointed by the god to the city. So even there, he's talking in religious terms, you know, Greek religious terms. But yeah, Ficino says he bases his whole defense, and he does start with that, on the oracle. The ancient world had a bunch of gods, right? So we've got all these gods, we've got these spirits, demons, daimon, and then he slips in, which our people call angels.
We're here visiting the Ducal Palace in Urbino. It's beautiful. It's one of the first things you actually see when you come into the city. And so it's really awesome that we are getting to come in here and learn about the history of this wonderful place. We're actually learning about Federico's family, who was one of the main people that funded the Renaissance, and he made such a big difference in this city becoming as important as it did in the Renaissance. And so this was his home, his family's home, and it's really amazing to see all the artwork and how it had such a great influence on Italy and ultimately the rest of Europe and the rest of the world.
So if you had to ask me the one thing I like most about Urbino, I would be tempted to tell you the gelato, the really nice restaurants, or even the pizza, and yet that would still all be wrong. I think my favorite thing about being in Urbino is the fact that it feels like home. After traveling all weekend or going on tours and seeing places, you come back and you're like, okay, this is home. This is where I can relax. I can walk through the streets and meet people if I want to, or I could go to the favorite pizza shop where the person knows me by name. Here in Urbino, everybody is friendly to the point that all of our shop owners know us and we know them because we're pretty regular in the pizza places and the gelato places. And in doing that and becoming a regular, we're learning how to speak Italian because they correct us and they laugh. And it's a good thing to have people laugh at you and correct you because that means they're not afraid to be themselves with you and you're not afraid to be yourself with them. And so I would definitely say Urbino has the culture of Stephenville, minus it's not Stephenville and it's Italy and it's beautiful, but it's definitely still somewhere you can call home for a month.
I'm literally standing on the streets of Urbino. I decided to go do this study abroad trip because I was very interested in the architecture in this very well preserved ancient Renaissance city. And so I'm doing a portfolio project right now. I'm actually doing two of them. There's one in film, which is going to be this video that we were making, this film that we were making. That's one of my projects. I'm doing a separate reel about Venice and a little bit about the life of Urbino. And then I'm also doing a portfolio that's more in line with my major, which is 3D design, animation, computer science. And so I am studying the architecture of Urbino because it's so well preserved. You know, it keeps the ideas of the Romanesque and Gothic architecture, the architecture that was found in the Renaissance. And so I'm taking and studying that type of architecture and implement it in the 3D designs I'm making for my portfolio reel, which I will eventually use outside of college. So this has been a very good experience for me to not only get a chance to work on film, but work on something I'll take beyond out of college.
I wasn't too sure about going, but then my dad talked to me and said that, no, you should probably go to this. And then I kind of asked him, are you sure that you don't want me for the harvest season in July? He said, yeah, we can manage without you. And so over the course of our Christmas break, I got things set up with Dr. Clifford and got ready for Italy. We finally get to leaving the airport, and my dad, he's not one big on emotions. Like, we always shake each other's hands, but before we left the airport, he kind of gave me a small hug whenever we were getting out of the car, you know, so that way none of my classmates would see me hugging my dad, I guess. That's just the way he is. So I get here to Urbino, Italy, and I'm just blown away. And my first impression after getting off the bus was hills. And it's just hills everywhere, up, down, side to side, everywhere you look there's hills. But I'm really enjoying it here. It's really nice, very beautiful scenery. It's everything you see is a photo opportunity. Everything. The buildings, the children, the dogs, the cats, the ducks, the birds, everything.
Usually when I'm ordering food, I'll try to say that. It's very nice. People appreciate it. Instead of just pointing and say, yes, this on. It's true.
Hi, I'm currently in Florence, Italy right now, outside the Fezzi, and everything here is absolutely breathtaking. I have fallen in love with the people and the culture and everything about Italy. I originally came on this trip because I wanted to get that 6 full hours of honors credit because it's an awesome opportunity. But I didn't realize that I was going to fall in love with the art that I've learned about. You have everything from Da Vinci to Brunelleschi, and even if you don't know what those are, this trip made me fall in love with it, and I never thought I would fall in love with things like that. I've also learned about myself through this trip, and I couldn't be more grateful to be on it.
Before I came here, I was a little bit concerned. I never studied abroad before, but now that I'm here, I'm having a blast. I love it here. The architecture is really incredible. It's something that I've never experienced before in America. So we went to Florence just the other day. We saw the dome. It was an incredible sight, just looking up at the people up at the top of the dome. It just gave you an awareness of just the sheer magnitude of the building, and the architecture was just incredible. The architecture in many places here in Italy is incredible, from the Renaissance time period. Giotto's painting, it was somewhat underwhelming to see pictures of it, but once you actually got to see it personally, it was just an incredible piece of work. Very beautiful compared to what I thought it was actually going to be.
Right now I'm outside the museum and it's extremely loud because it's tourist season, but it doesn't take away from the beauty of the attractions.
I'm trying. I gotta get all of Alyssa's crap. Want me to help you? Yeah. I still gotta get my person up there.
E spero che tu sei sempre felice e contento per il resto della tua vita.
Urbino is a Renaissance city, La Città Ideale, and it is really true living here. You learn so much about how the Renaissance is still alive today. Last summer I was able to learn a beginner's Italian, and this summer I'm continuing that, so that's amazing to be able to go into a cafe or a bar and order a cappuccino or a pizza, or just be able to interact with those locals on a more personal basis. This summer, I've definitely been able to expand in my Italian skills, as well as learn more about the city and about Federico da Montefeltro, who was the Duke of Urbino in the Renaissance times.
Straniere, dall'inglese, dal francese, le parole non abbiamo la forma plurale, ok? Bene. Poi, domande? Questo esercizio ok? Facciamo l'attività 7.
Little downturn, but that's the very end. It's called what in theater? It's a French word. Dr. Young, help them. Denouement. Movies are that way. There's a big shoot 'em up. That's the climax. And then sometimes there's a graveyard scene that's very peaceful. That's the denouement. But that's like this tiny, tiny thing at the end. So the climax in most plays, most movies, is very near the end. And that's the dramatic high point. What Ketchum argues is that Plato's dialogues aren't like that at all. The dramatic high point is near the center. I mean, it's not exactly the center, but it's near the center of the dialogue. And the philosophical high point is near the center of the dialogue. And after that, we go downhill and we end up more or less back where we started. Well, as someone pointed out, Morgan, I believe, that what this is really about is an opportunity for the reader, right? But the participants, the interlocutors, kind of go back downhill. So we could say we have the potential to keep going up. The potential, that's no guarantee.
I'm Jessie and I'm in Gradara, Italy. We just toured the castle that belonged to Francesca and Paolo, which is actually my favorite story that we went over in literature class with Dr. Young. It was part of the Inferno, so it was about these two lovers that actually were killed for their love because Francesca was actually married to Paolo's brother. And so seeing the place where they lived and, you know, had their secret love affair was actually really, really exciting. And it was definitely one of the highlights of the trip now that the trip's almost over and I'm being able to look back on it.
We first learned about Pablo and Francesca while reading Dante's Inferno in Dr. Young's class. And at first glance, it seems like a really good love story. But if you dig deeper into it, you find out that Francesca actually seems very manipulative and she keeps blaming Pablo and then her husband for what she did. And she's like, well, I'm in this place because of them. And you're like, nah, girl, you're in there because of what you did. And she just keeps making excuses and I don't really like her.
I'm going to Rome this weekend, so that's really exciting and I'm being able to see a lot of things while I'm here. I was really nervous about coming simply because I didn't know how it was going to be, but I really, really enjoyed myself. And I definitely would tell anybody that doesn't know if they want to go to come. The castle, honestly, is my favorite place I've been to, just because there's so much history here and a lot of art. And there's just the stories that you hear and everyone's so passionate about it. It's really, really exciting.
Attenti, in italiano, parenti non sono mamma e papà, ma sono tutta la famiglia, mamma, papà, fratello, zio, cugino. Capite? In inglese parenti, mamma, papà. In italiano tutti. I mamma e papà sono I genitori. Genitori, okay?
After, I mean, you know, real quick version, Medici's rule for, I don't know, 40 years or something like that. And then Savonarola, the crazy priest, came in and got enough support to take over. And, well, he brought in the French, which is interesting. You go, here's this guy who says, give up all worldly possessions, do not build these beautiful palaces. And so he brings in the French king, who had more elaborate crap than the Medicis. So this was a bizarre marriage, but he needed help. So yeah, he took over. The Medicis were run out of town for a few years. And then he pissed off the Pope.
Very simply done. Everybody can learn it. Everybody of the upper class.
I just thought it was weird how simple it was, considering that's like all they ever do. Like, because in the book, they kind of are seen as they don't really do much. They just kind of sit around, talk.
They
play
talk.
games,
They joust. They
so
play
you would think they'd be
games.
like fantastic dancers, but and like be really elaborate, but it's not.
You don't want to look like you spend all your time learning dance moves.
Yeah.
Right? That's not what they spend their time doing, supposedly. They actually do other things. They are warriors and diplomats and all. This is what they do during their periods of leisure. The women probably don't do a whole lot more, but the men, of course, do.
Coming to the Honors College Study Abroad in Italy is a great experience. You get to see a wonderfully beautiful country. The hills are amazing. You can see forever, and it's just the most beautiful thing ever. I've always wanted to see it. I want to go to Rome because I'm Catholic, and it'd be really cool to get to go see the Vatican City and where my religion is based. And it's just a wonderful experience, and it's beautiful. You're going to get in shape. Lots of hills.
I read the literature books before I came to Italy, and it's helped a lot because I've been able to just look over the notes before class, and I can understand things a little easier over here. And Dante's works are so revered here in Italy that it's been fascinating getting to learn them and then see all of the things that, like the statues of Dante and Dante's tombs.
There ain't nothing in the world that I'd like better than bacon and lettuce and homegrown tomatoes. Up in the morning, out in the garden, get you a ripe one and don't get a hard one. Plant them in the spring, eat them in the summer. All winter without them is a culinary bummer. I forget all about the sweating and the digging every time I go out and pick me a big one. Homegrown tomatoes, homegrown tomatoes. What'll life be without homegrown tomatoes? Only two things that money can't buy, and that's true love and homegrown tomatoes. Now you can go out to eat, that's for sure. Nothing that a homegrown tomato won't cure. You can put them in a salad, put them in a stew. You can make your very own tomato juice. Eat them with eggs, eat them with gravy. Eat them with beans, pinto or navy. Put them on the side, or put them in the middle. Put a homegrown tomato on a hot cake griddle. Homegrown tomato, homegrown tomato. What would life be without homegrown tomatoes? Only two things that money can't buy, and that's true love and homegrown tomatoes. Well, if I was to change this life I lead, I'd be Johnny Tomato Seed, 'cause I know what this country needs. Homegrown tomatoes in every yard you see. When I die, don't bury me in a box in a cemetery. Out in the garden would be much better, and I could be pushing up homegrown tomatoes, homegrown tomatoes. What'd life be without homegrown tomatoes? Only two things that money can't buy, and that's true love and homegrown tomatoes, homegrown tomatoes, homegrown tomatoes. What'd life be without homegrown tomatoes? Only two things that money can't buy, and that's true love, homegrown tomatoes. Okay.
The rich, the wealthy, owned some of the artworks. So some of these paintings were actually statements, symbolic statements, telling a story, talking to the viewers, especially in the churches. You know, the faithful would go there to learn from the paintings, to learn from the statues. They would learn, you know, the stories from the Bible, stories from the Gospels. In this case, this was a statement that the Piero Francesco made. Ciao, semplicemente ciao. Oh, grazie.
Perfetto. It's pretty clear, I think, Ficino's interpretation of Plato is a little strange. But that doesn't matter. The point is, he had to figure out what to do with Plato. Ivan's going to write a paper that's going to talk about that, and he also had to still at least pretend that he was a Christian. Right? So he had to be really creative to make all that work. Now, you know, maybe his interpretation of Plato is a little on the crazy side, but, you know, it caused a lot of intellectual creativity to have to deal with an author that's not easy to deal with, and that's true when they read literature. It's true when Dante reads Virgil.
Sì, preferisci un caffè con zucchero o senza zucchero? Ecco qua.
Grazie. Quante? Latte di caldo freddo.
Gatto? Con un gatto? Sì. Una camicia è bianco o bianca? Bianca. Bianca. Eat as well? Sì.
Levare e mangiare.
Perfetto.
Study abroad is not just an academic experience, but also a social experience as well. Last year, I was able to make really good friends on the trip, but this year I actually was roommates with an Italian girl and a Lithuanian girl, so we became really close friends, and it was awesome to have an experience where I was able to explore the city and learn about Italian culture, but also learn about the differences in Italy and Lithuania. So it was awesome just to get to know somebody that was from a culture completely different than my own.
Coming on a study abroad experience isn't just learning new things and learning about the culture of the place that you're staying at. It's also building lasting relationships with people that you otherwise wouldn't have met. For instance, in this case, we have people from different places in Texas, all over the US, different majors, different areas of study. And it's nice to see that we all share this common interest in learning, especially about the Renaissance and all the literary and philosophical aspects of it. And it all culminates here in Urbino.
I learned about the Renaissance in textbooks, and I always wanted to visit the places I'd read about, especially Florence. I had never heard of Urbino, but I had wanted to see the best Renaissance art in architecture, and this program has offered an incredible opportunity to see those things. We went to Florence with the students, saw some of the greatest works of art in the world, and here in Urbino, in one of the centers of the Renaissance, we have this beautiful place, the Ducal Palace, Palazzo Ducale.
Before we begin, I will ask my companion to say a little bit about the most illustrious and famous order of our court, and a book that happened to discuss a series of conversations which took place in this very room. What we will ask is that you, in like manner to the participants in the Cortigiano, will participate in the discussion. We'll ask that everyone participate substantially at least one time, but you should have a chance to participate more than once.
How do you see gender roles being constructed and enforced through the portrayal of the ideal lady and gentleman?
Well versed and learned in literature and then like Greek and Latin. So I thought that was fascinating that they really encouraged like women being educated.
Strong and courageous and can do all these things, and they're educated and they can speak about it and all this stuff. But women are like supposed to be more subdued and sweet, and they know a lot, but they don't rub it in your face.
So comparing like they can teach you like how to be better, like footwork, better technique. You can learn how to be like how to speak well and do everything, but like beauty, size, everything is a God-given gift. Like that's something unique that you can't practice on. You're given by God.
A man, they need to like look like they really effortless, but then they're like women, no, they have to be beautiful because, so it's like one of those things where men, it doesn't matter as long as they're not like sloppy and they're not like trying too hard for appearances, then it's fine. But if women aren't to a certain level of beauty, then you better be on. Yeah,
then
like
she's worth
then you're not, it's not
it
even.
literally says.
You are normally really happy
person, you gotta wear stuff that like reflects your personality. So if you're serious and more uptight, you have to wear something that portrays that aspect of yourself while still flattering your graces.
Speak appropriately for the company. Like I took that as like speak at the level to someone you're speaking to. So they should have, like the ideal woman should be able to talk in like all circles of
appearances matter.
Yeah. Well, men get to make all the decisions, but that also puts all the pressure on the men to make the decisions. If we're wrong, it's our fault.
Being a successful, marketable actress, like even the ones who aren't the ideal, like beauty, like if you look at her in magazines, she's photoshopped, she's thinner, she's wearing Spanx.
They automatically.
It's automatic.
If you grow up and you're taught certain things, that's how you think. You're taught to think a certain way.
According to before, what is the true purpose of the courtier's accomplishments?
That courtier-prince relationship, because in Castellano he's saying the courtier needs to have a trustworthy personality, so he'll trust him.
A woman grows up knowing that men are in power, and so she has two options. She can trust the man and submit to him, knowing that in submitting she'll find her happiness because she's not raising.
Has a courtly love for a member of the court. It should just be of her mind and never show him any sign of it. It should never smile at him, never give him a trinket, nothing. It should just be of her mind.
Well, to ultimately, I guess, get married to that other person and to have,
Go further.
to spiritually be with one another together and wherever.
The reason why I wanted to come to the beach at the end of the trip was because it was a good way to wind down, relax, kind of say, you know what, we're really close to being done, let's just relax, take it easy. Some students went to Rome, which Rome is good and everything, but you're going from here to there to here to there. You're always on schedule. But here at the beach, we were just sitting and relaxing. As you can see in the background, Ivan, Sarah, and Morgan are out there wakeboarding, and it's a lot of fun. I definitely suggest coming at least once in your lifetime to the Cerrillo Beach because it's really nice. Only downside is the rocks. They really hurt your feet when you step on them. So honestly, I feel this is the best thing I've done this whole trip.
Tomorrow is our final for literature and philosophy, and we're all kind of scared about that, not gonna lie. But the overall experience here has been momentously rewarding. We've met people that we wouldn't have been able to encounter any other way. We were able to immerse ourselves in a culture that is so vastly different from ours, but at the same time we saw such similarities that it wasn't overwhelming as we would thought it could have been. This whole experience has made our group that came here, we're closer because, well, we only had each other to depend on for most of the time. We figure out how to navigate the craziness that is the bus and train schedules here. Urbino in itself kind of makes us step back from our own lives and embrace how life should be. It shouldn't be just go, go, go all the time and you forget why you're going all the time. That it makes you step back and appreciate the small things.
How are gender roles presented, prescribed, constructed, put forward in 3 of those 4 works. Every one of them addresses gender roles very specifically. Let me give you an example for how you don't have to discuss everything. Gender roles in Dante would be at least a book, probably a library.
Exhibit the distinctive traits of Renaissance thought that we've studied for a month. Not just in philosophy, but in literature and art and architecture. Okay, we've looked at some of the distinctive traits that distinguishes the Renaissance from the medieval period. Okay, look at all 3 of these authors and tell me how they exhibit these traits, or which ones they exhibit. It's easy to say how they differ from each other.
Lorenzo Magnifico and Filippo Brunelleschi. So if you could tell me a little bit about their life, or his life, you only just choose one. His life and what he did, why he's considered as an important Renaissance man. Okay? If you have any questions, please raise your hand. Grazie.
Rome was kind of, it wasn't as chaotic as you'd think it would be, but it was definitely more crowded than any other city we've been in. It really was. Dr. Anderson talked about us being it was the eternal city, and it really, anywhere you went, you could just go over there, and it was just gorgeous with the marble. I mean, I didn't think there was that much marble in the world. Like, every city, you turn the corner, there's another palace and statues that are just, so realistic. It's like, how did they come up with these things? But along with the chaos came up, there was a little adventure in every single second of the time there. Getting back, we almost missed our bus. We made it with like 3 minutes to spare. It was crazy hectic. But it was absolutely gorgeous. And, just kind of looking back, like, I kind of wish that Rome was one of the first parts to the tour. Because, I mean, just after a month of walking all the time, we walked 18 miles in Rome a day.
First of all, propose a toast to our Italian hosts, who have been absolutely wonderful. They've taken care of us, taken us to the doctor. And as you know, we've been doing this for 2 years. And of course, Dr. Young and I do a lot of the planning, and we prepare to teach classes, but the bulk of the work is done by the members of Lingua Ideale. So I'd like to propose a toast to them. And then I'd also like to propose a toast to all of the students. The fact that you're here means that you're fairly courageous. The fact that you're still here means that you're pretty strong. You survived heat without air conditioning. You survived literature and philosophy, we think. We haven't got, I wouldn't bet on that one. But to come for the first time takes a little bit of courage, because you don't know for sure what you're getting into. And it's not always easy, right? So I want to toast to all of you for having the courage to participate in this program.
Hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever. Amen.
I played the original Streets of Urbino in the first set. And I'm getting ready to make a fool of myself.
Ero ormai stanco della grande città, ma a casa ancora non volevo tornare. Ho incontrato Chiara un giorno in un bar. Mi ricantò della sua città, mi disse vieni ti rilasserà. E mi è venuto un pensiero solo, quello di prendere un'auto a Nolo. Ho guidato quasi tutto il giorno senza guardarmi troppo intorno. Poi d'un tratto su nei colli ho visto Urbino. Da qualche parte ho parcheggiato, con la chitarra son salito. Per una stanza mi son trovato all'Hotel Raffaello. Puoi vedere la grandezza quando stai visitando Roma. Puoi assaggiare la squisitezza se invece passi per Bologna. Puoi provare la dolcezza di una gondola a Venezia per ammirare la bellezza di Firenze, la magnifica. Puoi pregare sul volto di Gesù lassù a Torino, ma io preferisco stare per le strade di Urbino. Sono stato in fila per gli Uffizi nella folla dei turisti, poi mi son trovato nella casa di Raffaello ad ammirare il suo dipinto fatto quando era ancora un bimbo. Ero solo ed incantato dal silenzio circondato. E Raffaella alla gelateria, lei mi guarda, oh mamma mia, e il suo sorriso mi fa tanto bene al cuore. Mi ordino del pistacchio e con 2 euro sono a posto. E questo senso di leggerezza è breve come una carezza. Puoi vedere la grandezza quando stai visitando Roma. Puoi assaggiare la squisitezza se invece passi per Bologna. Puoi provare la dolcezza di una gondola a Venezia per ammirare la bellezza di Firenze, la magnifica. Puoi pregare sul volto di Gesù lassù a Torino, ma io preferisco stare per le strade di Urbino. Mi sedevo nella grande piazza e mi gustavo un po' di pasta, guardando in giro tra la gente e stavo bene. Avevo un pensiero al mondo e non andavo da nessuna parte. Sembra tutto rallentare un po' se vivi il tempo di Urbino. Dal parco della Resistenza c'era davvero una gran bella vista e la città era lì disegnata sulla collina. Dal ricordo di un dolore, un'esplosione di colore in una foto da cartolina, sempre qui con me vicina. Puoi vedere la grandezza quando stai visitando Roma. Puoi assaggiare la squisitezza se invece passi per Bologna. Puoi provare la dolcezza di una gondola a Venezia per ammirare la bellezza di Firenze, la magnifica. Puoi pregare sul volto di Gesù lassù a Torino, ma io preferisco stare per le strade di Urbino, per le strade di Urbino.